Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Domination. I'm Dom, and today we will preview the Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest game, which will be played tomorrow afternoon at the Emirates at 3 o'clock. Probably a must-win game for Arsenal, if we're honest. I spoke earlier in the week about how the season is not all lost, and I think that is still true. But I think given we'd expect Liverpool to pick up 3 points at Southampton this weekend, and Manchester City are at home, albeit against a Spurs side who, on their day, can still be quite a challenge and somewhat of a bogey team in many ways for Manchester City in recent years. They knocked them out the Carabao Cup, of course, already this season as well. So not a given, but again, you'd expect Manchester City to win. I think it probably suggests that Arsenal will need to win this game. But even if you take Liverpool and City out of this, I think it's a must-win game for Arsenal anyway. 4 games without a win is a bit of a stretch now, and I think it just needs a little bit of confidence back into that side. And I think we saw some encouraging signs of that could come just before the international break against Chelsea, and in that second half against Inter, but mostly the Chelsea game. But it's not going to be an easy game this weekend against Forest, given how well they're playing, how poorly we played in recent weeks. But a must-win game for all that, and I think it was last season. I think it was at the City Ground. We went there and won after a bit of a poor run of form, and that was sort of the catalyst for moving us forward. So maybe some parallels there. Who knows? Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but either way, a game for Arsenal where the 3 points are more important than the performance. But if we can get both, I think that would really, really help the mood amongst the fan base, and probably amongst the players themselves. So, looking into it, what's the sort of injury news for tomorrow? Well, we know that Benjamin White is out following the operation he had for a knock he's been carrying for some time. And reportedly, Tomiyasu is also unavailable tomorrow. But we also know there's some injury doubts. Martin Odegaard, of course, played before the international break and then sat out the international break. I would expect him to be available tomorrow. I think that was probably just a precaution, and I think probably a very, very sensible one. We also know that Kieran Tierney is back in training, probably unlikely to start tomorrow, but maybe in contention for a place on the bench. Um, Leandro Trossard, he of course picked up an injury with Belgium in the week, again thought not to be serious, and Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice both missing England duty, having been unable to complete the game against Chelsea before the international break, are also on that list. Alexander Zinchenko expected to be also fit and available, so a much more promising picture, but also with Arsenal, very difficult to tell what the true injury picture is. They keep them out of training photos by and large if they're in doubt. Mikel, I'm recording this before the press conference. He gives very little away on that, and so it is difficult to tell. But I think it's bar White and Trossard. I would expect to probably see everyone back in the matchday squad tomorrow, including Calafiori, who I forgot to mention in that sort of summary there, who hopefully will be back too, having missed him in recent weeks. But I suspect Arsenal will keep us guessing right up to the last minute, including kitting up these players and getting them to walk into the stadium with their wash bags under their arms. Hey, Alexander Zinchenko, is that right? Sorry, I couldn't resist. So I think that's the injury news, and some promising news, as I say, and some decisions to make for Mikel Arteta tomorrow. So I think the key decisions for me are probably in midfield. I think the defence is pretty much picks itself depending on who's fit at left back, who's sort of fitter left back, I suppose, between probably Zinchenko and Calafiori. But I think in midfield, that's where the real key questions are. You'd expect Martin Odegaard to start in that 10 role tomorrow, and I think that's going to be crucial to Arsenal. Partey has been exceptional this season in the six. Rice in and out of form and has that broken toe at 8. Have probably been the sort of the go-to two when available. But Moreno has shown signs in recent weeks. I know he had a poor game against Inter, but I thought showed signs in more recent games, Liverpool and Chelsea, for instance, that he's starting to work his way back in and play very well for Spain in the international break too. So I think that's where the sort of key selection decision lies. I think the rest of the team will pretty much pick itself. And I think the question's got to be: is Rice fit enough, or do you want to, to go through the game on Saturday and Tuesday against Sporting, or do you need to rest him in one? And if he is, where do we play him? For me, he's a six. That's where his best position is. But Thomas Partey has played very, very well. I do want to see Mikel Moreno start this one. I think this is the type of game we brought Mikel Moreno in. He's a strong, skillful, combative player, and I think this is a game for him to come in and show him what he can do. So I think it's Rice or Partey there, and that's going to be a difficult one. For me, I think I go with a midfield three of Rice and Moreno and Odegaard, but you know we will see. As I say, what I don't want to see though, the one thing I don't want to see is Thomas Partey shoehorned in at right back with Timber moving to left back. For me, in Ben White's absence, it's really important that Urian Timber plays at right back in these games and gets a good run of games. I think that's going to be important for him, and I think that stability is what Arsenal need. I think that's what's underlined some of these silly defensive errors we've been making, for understandable reasons, given the personnel that have been unavailable, sort of enforcing changes. But I think a settled back four in this run is going to be really, really crucial. I think ideally that's going to be Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori. But you know, I'd rather see Partey on the bench and shoehorned in at right back just to make this work. But as I say, that for me, midfield area, that's a big key decision. I think the front four will be Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. And I think that combination that we sort of saw at the tail end of last season has the quality and the movement and the power to unlock this Forest defence, which has done very well this season. Moreno in particular has been there. And as I say, that midfield of Rice and Moreno, I think just provides a bit of creativity, especially if Calafiori sort of invert from left back as well to sort of support that, whilst not leaving us too exposed to the counter, which is going to be where Forest will look to be threatening, I would imagine. I think it's Forest side this season, led by Chris Wood, who's been exceptional up front. Surprise package probably the season for me. Maybe Gravenberch at Liverpool, but Chris Wood has been exceptional. They will look to sort of do that. And this Forest side reminds me very much of the Wolves side under Nuno a couple of years ago, which sort of was on the verge of getting for Europe. Maybe just did. I can't quite remember, but certainly a very, very combative, capable side that knew what they were doing, and I think that's what we're seeing this season from Forest, and he deserves a lot of credit for that, because if I'm honest, me, along with a lot of other people, thought he would be the first to be sacked this season and Forest would be struggling. So, as I say, midfield the key decision. I think the rest of the side picks itself, and I think, just to recap my 11 there, which I think can unlock Forest and prevent those counter-attacks, are Raya in goal, back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, midfield of Rice, Moreno and Odegaard for me, but not a shock if Partey is one of those two, sort of in the sixth role with Rice and Moreno at 8. Odegaard, I say, in the 10, and then Saka, Havertz and Martinelli as the front three. If Saka is unavailable, then I think for me, Gabriel Jesus starts on the right, but I would fully expect to see Saka in the side. So that's a very quick run through, a sort of update ahead of tomorrow's game. I think must-win game, as I say, for Arsenal. I think this will be a 2-1 win to Arsenal, and a much-needed 3 points. But let me know who you think's going to start tomorrow, whether you agree, disagree with anything I've said. Do put a comment in, give it a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will hopefully see you in the coming days after the Arsenal game, and hopefully a big 3 points for us at the Emirates. Have a great weekend, guys. See you all soon. Bye.